little late. But I will show what I had done since Saturday, which isn't much since I've been making turtles, but beside that point, here is the animations that were done for the creatures that I did, which is just vertical and phantom. Oh yeah, I also added a zoom. So now you can zoom in on the creatures. Also, funnily enough, both this one and this one, you can't actually zoom in on the elements of combiner, and that is not on purpose, nor on the maps on this one. Also, the errors because these two don't actually have anything to them. They're just standing there because they don't have animations yet, which I plan on doing on stream. Since I've explained absolutely everything last time, there's really no reason to dilly-dally. Also, this should work, but it doesn't. Yep, everything's working, I think. Though something seems to be up with the island. Doesn't seem like it. Well. Also, I found this out when you have a wrong thing in your name. You know, I'm just gonna redo this entire thing so it's actually direct, and I can possibly reuse the animations. Well, I can't use the animation controller directly. I can do that. Yeah, I'm just gonna do that to all of them very quickly. I think I might make background music sometime soon. I can play well on this. So I don't know what else to do. It's awfully quiet. Idle. Idle. I've also kept the naming convention for these. time to see if that broke anything. The place to test that would be this one, since it's all fixed in general and works completely since it was the tester. Everything seems to be working. Got away from them to make noise. Yep, that works. Actually, does it look like maximized? Also, I fixed the exit game. So when you actually exit the game, it will exit the game. Also, this error here is because these have their creature controller turned off, so it'll do nothing. So they'll just stand there. Also, the preferred island, if you want to get any closest to certain creatures, would be this one, since you can get all the way up to that, then show what I did for vertical. Just copy paste. And renames to just E, so it stays the same. I put the 2's in here, so it's easier for me to see that this is indeed the one that's needed. And then delete play file. And then also set this one to B2 as well. It's best if you make a new play file so that the animation is unique. Even if you do what I do and it's the same. Can't forget to turn that on either. So now if I were to apply this, he would start moving. So I do have to set this part up, which I do have quagmire open. I am not adding currency control currently to this to the quagmire. And he has one track, which I can search for B. And find it. Yep. Actually, I don't actually have to animate the whole thing this time since it's just a simple arpeggiator. So I'm just gonna animate these three. Dun 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 dun. In like that order, since it's the most visible. And then the rest would probably just be the idle for him, and then I don't know what I'm gonna do with Beast. And tend to figure out what will work then. Okay. Where's the feet squared? And carrying roots. Right here. Here's the targets. Time to check the animations. Here's our none, so I put in the wrong thing. Then this gets a none. _2, _B, B, B, _play 1. So it's, if I have to explain it again, series, place number, which quagmire is number 2, the element being B, so it's series 1, character B, and play 1 is the track that it'll be doing. Which I have all these sets that I can just copy the idle's base position and put that into here. And the tracks last for 60 bars and then 60, given this carry-in, standing still the whole time. And at 1, like I did fentanyl on the last one, creatures, methods, soundplay ends 1, 1. And now to... Okay. For anyone wondering, here's what the media looks like for carry-in, which is just this. A delay, then dun, 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 dun. The instrument doesn't count the full notes and won't play the sound the full way either. So it sounds like this. I think it doesn't. Also, just for the sake of it, I have all of them unmuted this time, and not obvious, I have not added the instrument to the Z yet. sidetracked again. I'm just gonna do this. Move that back to the screen. So now back to this. Again, I'm going to have this to this are all for carrion. The rest are all beast, and then the head for carrion. So that means I just do this, then hold down the control key, and do this. So it'll just have them all selected so that when I copy it and paste it, it'll be the full animation cycle for just carrion, so I don't have to reanimate him, since he's not the one that's moving for the instruments, and also he doesn't need anything unique to him. But I can add uniqueness to this one. But it does allow me to close the carrion root. Now, to actually give beast his motion. So, this is the lower notes, these are higher notes. It's an arpeggiator, so again I'm only using these three. And the X is what controls whether it's the one being played at 1.25 or 1.5 depending on how hard the note is hit, but in most cases it's 1.25 as shown here, and it'll last to the 30 mark, which then it resets. Give any indication that is being played. Now to find that singular note, so then it could be moved aside, because again it's delayed by half a note, which will just copy and paste that back to the beginning, because again it doesn't have smoothing between the idle and this, so if you were actually playing it would, and you place it in the middle of this track, it wouldn't skip around or anything be out of place. And I'm just going to replicate that motion for all the notes at the proper intervals. So, dun dun dun. 1.25. 1. 1. 1. Then at note 3, which would be the fourth notes, as you add 1 to this, since this would be note 1, note 2, note 3, and then so on. Giving us this motion when slowed down to 60 beats per minute for the sound. The sound does not play in editor. Actually, will it? Yeah, it doesn't. But that's what it looks like in motion. For which, now that I have it so that it resets in the start as well, I can just copy paste it to the next one, since it's just the same 3 notes. And then I can just copy paste these two, so I don't have to do as much copying and pasting. And move it to here. And there. Now if I were to play the game, it would play the animation proper. What is that freeze frame carrying? Because on frame 240 it'll flip back. There's like that head turning. It's not as clean if you put at something like from the 20 to 30 mark, but when it's happening quickly, it's usually unnoticeable unless it's pointed out. IK for the feet. Actually, I do want to showcase this off in slow motion. How Carrion actually goes to sleep. Like, I like what he does with his feet specifically for this. Beast also goes to sleep if not obvious, since it's actually the one playing. Also, Carrion has full mobility of his entire neck, and it can be pushed down into his body, as shown here. And once asleep, he just waddles back and forth while Beast does the thing with his feet. Which I can actually take that as well. So 9, 8, 7. So then I can take this, rib 6, all the way to rib 1. And just grab it all. Copy it. Now in the play feature I can actually add some more motion to. Whoops. Which I'll just put at this mark. So the note before it actually ends, which I'll just copy over to the other parts that have that mark. But not the very last one. And I've positioned that wrong, since it has to stay on beat, otherwise the speed gets messed up. And there now, Beast has more motion in his body, especially the bottom, because of this one connects the entire behind. Why am I making my Sea Monsters fan game off of with creatures like this one that don't actually play any sound or do anything other than just look around and roll his eyes? When things like this are the things playing. Those are some very good questions that I will not answer. And again, once you have good animations, like if I wanted to, I can take it, Beast opening its mouth from this part so it's still smooth as that. I could, and so on. Which it also has a blinking animation. And in this case, I'll be taking the animation frames for opening and shutting its mouth, which go from here to here, and are all of these frames. Which you actually have to hit Control C and then Control V to use. Put it in any open spots. The time. So in this case I'll be putting it at 2, so I did remember correctly. Nope, I'm going to be putting it at 1 then. So that way it loops and I can put it at every interval. Also, if anyone's actually wondering why I don't just have like the animation end at this point and just have this section loop around and get rid of the rest because of the events. But with that now. Oh no. Yep. Wrong animation. Oh, I should have seen that coming. So there's the opening close right here instead, actually. Which makes a lot more sense now that I think about it, since it doesn't have as many parts as Carrion. Which should be able to just go into the same spot. Maybe. So Beast is going to be difficult. I'm going to have it positioned at the 30 mark of each bar. there's an entire play animation done. Very quickly made, and I probably will be adding more to it, but as it stands, it's good enough for now. Which then, I just double check that the scriptable objects are grabbing the right one. So 1-2B, cost 250, shop 1-2B, read screen is the same for each one, and the prefab is 1_B_2, and it's the element B. These two also look like they're correct. These strings are the same. Storefronts 2, 1-2A, 1-2B, and 1-2B. If I open this up, it will be the same. Yes. Everything's correct in that front. So now, if I were to go back into it though, but because I forgot to set one thing. The playware, which I'll just show off how I do that very quickly as well. This is the 1 mark. This is the 5 mark, since it ends at the number 5, and is the 5 over here. So at frame slot 1, it will start, and slot 5, it will stop. This is just a quick explanation for it. So now, quickly putting that in. 1 starts, so it gets the 1, then put it in the 5, then it stops, so I put in the 0. And the next time he plays is 17, for which then I put a 1, then 29, I can put a 0 and stop there, because there is more to the song, but when the timer gets past this point, it'll just stay 0. There's nothing else to add. I don't have to add anything more. I can just stay 0. Which also makes it easier if I go to extend the song, because, or switch out an instrument, because I could just go to the exact points in either the before, or extend this down to the after. For which in this case I will not be doing that, but so it's good to know that you can just do this instead of play it the whole way through. So now, if everything works correctly, we can now listen to the full song without any issue, which I'll just mute my microphone so you can see it fully. I have noticed the problem immediately, and I forgot to say in the animator, here's the animation, which was just made. You delete that, and then in the animations, in the folder that contained it, then clicking on the play one, you drag this to the motion, and then Control S to save, exit prefab, nothing in the console, everything's good. Now I'll mute my bike. There's only a few things that I need to add. Just opening up a couple things. So now I just have to add the entire element to C in its line. From AC, ABC, BC, and then C itself. For which, again, I do have exported. Like, in chimera quagmire, it's one of the other ones. Which again, it just has these tracks. And Eclectic and Nostalgia has these ones. So now there's only one more thing to check. I think I forgot to save when I moved the verticals. So I'm just gonna move them back. For a second. Please. Okay, now to go to maps, which you can actually just leave alone entirely. So I'm gonna leave this place and go to Neglectic Nostalgia. I'm going to obviously back here. Okay. Now I want you. Wait, what? If I just, I might like make a little barricade. Forgot to save the verticals over here again. Go back. as well. Also work on the camera zoom. Because I got a new tutorial for the zoom itself, which is right here. And I'm just going to quickly edit it. And the drag. So I want to use what I learned from the zoom and the drag. For which is this one. Like these two lines. So here's how the thing used to work. For which I'll use the undo button if I need to go back. So I just have to add one more variable to this. Which is a float of, what was the float? Smooth time. Velocity and min-max zoom do not matter, I don't think. Let me just read through very quickly. Very quickly indeed. Yep, everything seems to be right. So now I can get rid of this giant thing. Instead, I'm just going to put this with this. I'm not really right with this thing. This will clamp the test transform. Just put in here. But now to remember, the position dot x is bound, top left bound, top left. Now here's where I have digging, because in the camera I have to figure out which one is top left, for which is negative, and top right is positive, which is flipped for this. Which I'm just going to duck to the side a bit so I have it slightly on the other screen. And just reopen this. So, with that, it will be, so less than would be the top left bound dot x, and the other one would be bottom right bound dot x, which again removes an entire thing. Just by doing this, which this would be bottom right bound since it's the less than in this scenario, and the top left bound since it's the positive in this scenario, for which is the y's, which I'm just going to copy this so I don't have to write it out again. Most of this is just copy paste. The same thing over and over again, for which if I've done everything correctly, in Unity, I forgot something else. Oh, a literal else then. Just gonna copy that, paste that. Everything should be good. Yes. I'm out of that's not a variable. 37, 38. Actually, I think they can get rid of the test transform in its entirety. Just replace it with a vector. Uppercase V. Vector 3. Which then will also remove. Eh? Oh. Ah. Now everything should be working proper. Oh, 35, 36. 35, 36, yes. Forgot about this. Now to test. 39. Yep, that fixed it. So now it doesn't have the need for the test transform. So now I can just delete that from both this scene, which, yay, it removes an object that needlessly needs rendered. And now to test it, I have to double check that every input is put in properly. Space time 1. So now also glide. 1. You guys set that to the normal one as well in this. Equals 1 if, because it's a float. Now time to see what you'll be doing in the main camera. Okay, everything seems to be working properly. Let's have this open and down here, testing. Yep, but also remove the weird sticky thing. Now, specific. Set that new variable here. Might as well just do a bunch of testing now. And make sure that there's no gaps now that it doesn't get stuck. Just get that over with now. So negative 5.5. So there's just one that needs changed. Be negative 5.5. So now everything's working perfectly fine. If anything, I am going to be adding things so you drag the creatures instead of just placing them down. And possibly having it so that when you actually place them, because that was part of the original script that I jotted down and took note of, it would put it down properly. So I'll also go through that and figure out how to do that when also loading the game. But that's something I'll figure out another day. At least for now, the game is now more playable, and you can actually go about with everything. I will also be trying to draw the backgrounds for Chimera and Neglected. So, hopefully that goes well. And with that, to the only person that's watching the stream, hope you have a nice day.